The ladies, thank you for your love and support. I appreciate you all. Is this the reason to which they want to arrest or jail Julius Malema? According to Julius Malema, there is bad governance system in Africa, and this is made possible by the imperialists. They make sure that they corrupt the system in Africa and get us corrupt leaders that they can easily manipulate for them to continue to be taking the resources out of the continent. That these people will never fight against any leader that is doing the right thing. Now let's take Mugabe for instance. When Mugabe came into office, they started praising Mugabe until Mugabe started questioning things in Zimbabwe. Then he became a target of these people. When he was now talking about land reform, he became a dictator. The West started targeting him. That these people will never get us leaders that can do anything, because they know that with such leaders they cannot get what they want in Africa. That they turn us against Muammar Gaddafi. We saw the names they called Muammar Gaddafi, the way they painted Muammar Gaddafi bad, simple because Muammar Gaddafi was doing the right thing. So these people always make sure that the African never had a leader that can stand up to them. You become their target. And because these ones also want to be puppets, they continue to dance to the tune of these people. That the moment you come into office and you start doing the right thing, they have to replace you. They will do everything possible in their power to make sure that you are taken out.
Burkina Faso. The assignment of the dues now goes beyond the traditional roles of hunters. Having become security auxiliaries, they must acquire new skills. The Nyankorodugo Brotherhood understood this by initiating training to better respond to security challenges.
Most of us are natives. That is why we initiated this training. We are fully aware of the reality of the country. We must organize ourselves to provide support to the nation. Especially in a commune bordering practically two countries, Côte d'Ivoire and Mali. It was high time, after all, that the community, through its social stratum, the dues, could organize itself so that we can at least close ranks around everything that unites us, the homeland. And I believe that after this training, people will be even better equipped and more inclined to defend their respective localities. For 2 days, these community guardians will become familiar with the concepts of human rights. The first module focuses on the role and missions of volunteers for the defense of the homeland in the context of terrorism. The second module focuses on the incentives of terrorism and the deterioration of social cohesion. The third module focuses on good practices for collaboration between DOUs, VDPs, and defense and security forces. Finally, the fourth module focuses on respect for human rights and the principles of social cohesion in the context of the fight against terrorism, as in the case of the bird hunters in western Burkina Faso.
The training aims to change mentalities in order to avoid the confusion that systematically associates terrorism with a social group.
The first objective is to deconstruct accusatory stereotypes of a particular community. The second objective is to respect human rights and the principles of social cohesion. The third objective is to equip them at the to instill good practices for collaboration with the defense and security forces, the VDPs, and even other communities. And finally, the last objective is to create a multi-stakeholder exchange framework bringing together the DOO, the VDPs, the defense and security forces, local communities, and even administrative and customary authorities. The theme was the contribution of the DOSO to securing the national territory and social cohesion in the context of the fight against terrorism in Burkina Faso. the session mobilized 1,000 Doao from the Laba province.
Freedom is never voluntarily given by the oppressor, it must be demanded by the oppressed. Martin Luther King Jr. said those words 6 decades ago, and today, on the soil of Africa, they echo with new fire. Imagine this. A continent of 1.4 billion people, long trapped on the digital toll roads of Silicon Valley, suddenly flips the switch on an internet of its own. No more detours across oceans, no more hidden fees to foreign shareholders, no more voices drowned out by distant algorithms. Overnight, Africa declares a digital independence as bold as any revolution of the past. But here is the paradox. While Americans celebrate self-reliance as a virtue, when Africans like Burkina Faso's Ibrahim Traoré call for sovereignty, whether in gold, in food, or in data, they are met with suspicion, even hostility. Why? This is not just about Wi-Fi speeds or new technology. It is about dignity, power, and who gets to decide the future. For the farmer in Ouagadougou, for the student in Nairobi, and for nations that have endured centuries of dependence, this shift is nothing short of historic. So the question is, when a people take back their own digital highways, is it a threat to the world order, or the beginning of a fairer one? For decades, the internet promised to be a borderless commons, a free highway of ideas. But for Africa, the promise was an illusion. Every email, every payment, every search query from Ghana to Burkina Faso had to travel thousands of miles to servers in Europe or the United States before circling back. Imagine mailing a letter to your next-door neighbor, but first sending it across the Atlantic. That was the daily digital reality for millions. This system was not just inefficient, it was punishing. Africa carried some of the highest internet costs in the world, not because of a lack of demand, but because it was essentially renting space on someone else's infrastructure. A family in Burkina Faso could spend a disproportionate share of their income just to keep their children connected for school. Meanwhile, American corporations collected billions from this arrangement year after year.
We saw what they started with Burkina Faso calling Captain Ibrahim Traoré a dictator, saying he was using the resources in Burkina Faso to protect himself, as if the resources in Burkina Faso belonged to them, until we all rose up to fight against this. And now they have changed their tactics, came in the guise of diplomacy when military force failed. Like the president of Russia, Vladimir Putin, rightfully said that these people always try to use military force as foreign policy, which is bad because you can't impose your things on other people, and they try to create division among us. So until we change the governance system in Africa, the African will continue to be where he or she is, and maybe worse. We need to fight against the system that these people are using to fight against us. Until then, we can never get the freedom we are looking for. They know how to control us. They gave us a system that we love so much. And we see that whenever they are trying to do something, they try to say this person is not democratic. But the bad ones that we call on them to take them out, you see that these people always maintain them. Look at what is happening in Cameroon. Look at what is happening in Ivory Coast. Look at what is happening in Togo. Yet these people that claim they love the African and they are always there to make sure that we have good leaders are silent because they know these ones are allowing them to continue to be taking the resources out of the country. So they don't care. They are always after their interest. The moment you see them making noise concerning a leader in Africa, you should know that that leader is doing something good for his people, which is against them. So they will start targeting that person and make sure they turn the people against that leader. So all the leaders that we have that they are praising, it means that these leaders are unaliving us. They are just selling our future, the generations to come, into these people's hands. You only become a friend of them when you allow them to continue to be stealing from you. So the youth have to understand things, so we'll stop following these politicians blindly, because these people will never love any leader in Africa that is trying to change the narrative for us. They make sure they give us leaders that they can easily manipulate. That one is a fact. But majority of us are not aware because they have a system called democracy, and the day that we claim we elect our leaders, so you believe that you have elected that leader. Like one of our brothers from Cameroon would say, if it is true that majority are the people who elected the leader would have been doing things that will please the people and not the other way around. But because these leaders are chosen by other people outside of us, that is the reason to which no matter how much majority of the people cry, they will still not listen because they have to do the bid of their masters and not you and I. They don't ever want an African to be self-conscious. Our emancipation is their problem, and that was why Bob Marley was always calling for us to emancipate ourselves. Until we are able to come out of these chains mentally, we will never be able to defeat them because we love everything that they gave to us without knowing that the things that they gave to us are the same things that they are using to destroy us. That is why they are going after Julius Malema, because the opportunity that he gets, he always try to educate us. We see the way they are chasing after people that are trying to preach for us to awaken. They can only control you when you don't know what is happening. But when our eyes are opened, we'll start rising up to fight and defend what we have. Now, majority of us are still sleeping. It's just a few of us that know that these people are dependent on whatever that we have. People are still defending them, claiming that they have everything and they are rather giving us aid because this is the narrative that they have been preached to. We are the only ones that can set ourselves free. United we stand, divided we fall, and united we keep standing forever and ever. The greatest enemy of the African is mental slavery. So let's decolonize ourselves from mental slavery. Let's keep sharing to educate our brothers and sisters. Together we make African great for ourselves and the next generations that are going to come. So that's the latest around the world in Africa, Southern Africa, and in South Africa.